Have you ever felt like you're carrying a weight you can't name, a quiet ache that lingers, even when you smile, even when you tell the world you're fine? Maybe you've dreamed of being someone who doesn't flinch, someone who walks through life untouched by doubt, judgment, or failure. Someone who seems to glide above the chaos, unshaken by the storms of criticism or the sting of disappointment. But deep down, you know the truth. Pretending to be unbreakable is exhausting. You're tired of holding up a mask, of acting like nothing gets to you, when inside, every harsh word, every missed opportunity, every moment of rejection feels like a crack in your foundation. Maybe you're wondering, when will I finally be free from this? Let me share something raw, something no one might have dared to tell you. As long as you keep running from your inner chaos, your fears, your doubts, your pain, it will own you. The more you try to bury it, to control it, to pretend it doesn't exist, the tighter its grip becomes. You'll stay trapped, reacting to the world's noise, feeling like life is a battlefield where you're always one step behind. But here's the shift. Freedom doesn't come from silencing your pain. It comes from facing it, from diving into the mess of who you are and finding meaning in the chaos. This isn't about becoming invincible. It's about becoming whole. If you're watching this, it's not by accident. This is for you, the one who's tired of feeling fragile, who's ready to stop letting the world's judgments dictate your peace. I'm going to show you a path, grounded in the wisdom of thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Marcus Aurelius, that doesn't ask you to hide from life's storms, but to walk through them with clarity and strength. It won't be easy. It'll demand courage. But it's the only way to find the freedom you've been chasing. Let's begin. You think the pain you feel comes from out there, from the people who overlook you, the failures that haunt you, the expectations you can't meet. You tell yourself, if only they understood me, if only things went my way, I'd be okay. But here's the brutal truth. The world doesn't create your pain. It only reveals it. What hurts isn't the rejection itself, but the story you've built around it. It's the voice in your head that says you're not enough, the old scars you've never dared to touch, the fears you've dressed up as strength. Jean-Paul Sartre, the existentialist philosopher, said, "Man is condemned to be free." Condemned, because with freedom comes responsibility, to face yourself, to choose who you become. No matter what life throws at you, the pain you feel, it's not a punishment. It's a signal, a call to wake up and take ownership of your inner world. When someone criticizes you, it stings because it echoes a doubt you already carry. When you fail, it burns because it touches a fear you've buried. The outside world is just a mirror, reflecting what's unresolved inside you. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. You're still hurting, because you're fighting for control. You're trying to be perfect enough, likable enough, successful enough, as if that will shield you from pain. But control is a myth. You can't make the world love you. You can't stop failure or betrayal, and the harder you try, the more you live in tension, waiting for the next blow. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Freedom begins when you stop begging the world to be kind and start understanding your own reactions. The real battle isn't out there, it's within. Let's go deeper. You're not as in control as you think. Most of your life, your reactions, your fears, your choices, is driven by forces you don't fully see. Sartre called this bad faith. The act of lying to yourself about who you are and why you do what you do. You might tell yourself you're fine, that you're over that betrayal, that you don't care about that harsh comment. But then why does your heart race when you're alone? Why do you snap at small things? Why does that one memory still keep you up at night? Those aren't random. They're your inner chaos speaking, the parts of you that you've ignored or pushed away. They're the fears you haven't named, the dreams you've buried, the truths you've avoided. And they don't just sit quietly, they act. They show up as procrastination, as anger you can't explain, as relationships you keep repeating despite knowing better. Sartre said, "We are our choices." But how can you choose freely if you don't even know what's driving you? The Stoics, like Aurelius, would tell you to pause, to question your reactions, to ask, why does this bother me? What am I afraid of losing? This isn't about suppressing your emotions. It's about understanding them. When you ignore your inner chaos, it pulls the strings. When you face it, you take the reins. But facing it means letting go of the illusion that you can avoid pain altogether. It means accepting that pain is part of being human, part of being free. Ready to dive deeper? Because this is where the real work begins. You've been taught that strength means never breaking, never doubting, never feeling lost. You've built walls to keep pain out, saying, "I don't care," or "I'm over it." But those walls don't protect you. They trap you. The more you hide from your emotions, the more they fester, turning into resentment, anxiety, or a numbness you can't shake. True strength isn't about being untouchable. It's about being honest. Sartre's Existentialism tells us that life has no inherent meaning, so we must create it. That's terrifying, but it's also liberating. Your pain, your chaos, your struggles, they're not obstacles. They're raw material. They're the clay you shape to define who you are, but you can't shape what you refuse to touch. Stoicism offers a practical tool here, the discipline of perception. Aurelius said, "Choose not to be harmed and you won't. Feel harmed." This doesn't mean ignoring pain. It means reframing it. When someone hurts you, ask, "Is this about them or about what I'm carrying?" When you fail, ask, "What can this teach me about myself?" This shift, from reacting to reflecting, changes everything. You don't become free by avoiding pain. You become free by embracing it, by seeing it as a guide, not an enemy. Let's keep going. Most of us spend our lives running from suffering. We distract ourselves with work, with screens, with endless noise, hoping it'll drown out the ache. But pain doesn't vanish. It shapeshifts. It becomes that restlessness you feel when you're alone, that anger that flares up out of nowhere, that sense of emptiness even when life looks perfect. Sartre would say this is the anguish of existence, the price of being free to choose who you are. Pain isn't a flaw in the system. It's the system's way of waking you up. It's your soul saying, "Stop hiding, start living." But living means facing the void, the parts of you that scare you, the questions you've avoided, the truths you've buried. The Stoics saw suffering as a teacher. Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Your pain is the way." It's showing you where you're stuck, where you're clinging to illusions, where you're not yet free, but you have to listen. You have to stop numbing and start asking, what is this pain trying to tell me? Here's the paradox. The moment you stop fighting your pain, it loses its power over you. Not because it disappears, but because you've made peace with it. You've chosen to see it as part of your story, not the whole story. This is where transformation begins, not in perfection, but in acceptance. Let's take it one step further. The path to freedom isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming you, not the version of you that others expect, not the version you've built to survive, but the real you, chaos and all. Sartre called this authenticity, living in alignment with your own truth, even when it's messy. It's about owning your choices, your fears, your desires, and saying, "This is me, and I'm enough." But authenticity isn't a destination. It's a process. It's what the Stoics called living according to nature, not just the world's nature, but your own. It means looking at your pain, your doubts, your failures, and instead of hiding them, saying, "These are mine. What can I learn from them?" It's about letting go of the need to be seen as perfect and embracing the mess of being human. This process is what Sartre meant by creating your own meaning. Every time you face your pain, every time you choose to grow instead of shrink, you're writing your own story. You're not a victim of the world's chaos. You're a creator within it, and that's where true freedom lies. Not in escaping pain, but in using it to become who you're meant to be. If this is resonating, hit that subscribe button and join us on this journey. Your support keeps this channel alive, and I'm grateful for every one of you. Now let's talk about how to start this journey. Suffering feels like the enemy, but it's not. It's a guide, a compass pointing you toward what needs your attention. The problem isn't that you feel pain. It's that you've been taught to fear it. You've been told that strength means never breaking, that vulnerability is weakness, that you should always have it together. But that's a lie. Pain is universal. It's the thread that connects every human being. The difference between those who crumble and those who rise isn't the absence of pain, it's how they respond to it. The Stoics practiced amor fati, loving your fate, not just accepting your pain, but embracing it as necessary, as part of your growth. Sartre would add that you're free to choose what your pain means. A rejection can mean you're not enough, or it can mean you're one step closer to finding where you belong. A failure can mean you're a fraud, or it can mean you're daring to grow. The choice is yours, but it starts with courage. Courage to sit with your pain. Courage to ask what it's teaching you. Courage to let go of the stories that keep you small. This isn't about becoming untouchable. It's about becoming unbreakable, not because you feel nothing, but because you've learned to feel everything and still choose your path. Let's go deeper. One last time. The journey to freedom, to authenticity, to living as your true self, isn't a straight line. It's a spiral, a descent into your own chaos, and a climb back toward meaning. Sartre's Existentialism reminds us that life is absurd. There's no script, no guarantees, but that absurdity is your canvas. You get to paint the meaning. The Stoics, meanwhile, remind us that while you can't control the world, you can control your response. This journey, what we might call your own art of becoming, demands that you face your inner chaos head-on. It means asking the hard questions. What am I avoiding? What stories am I telling myself? What do I fear most? It means letting go of the need to control how others see you, to predict every outcome, to be perfect. Here's how you start. First, pause. The next time you feel that ache, that anger, that fear, don't run. Sit with it. Name it. Write it down. Second, reflect. Ask, why does this hurt? What belief or memory is this touching? Third, reframe. Choose what this pain means. Is it a wound, or is it a lesson? Is it a dead end, or a doorway? Finally, act. Take one small step toward growth. A conversation, a journal entry, a moment of honesty with yourself. This isn't about erasing pain, it's about transforming it. Every time you face your chaos, you grow stronger. Every time you choose meaning over despair, you become freer. You're not here to be untouchable. You're here to be real, to feel the weight of life and still rise, to face the chaos and still create. Sartre said, freedom is what you do with what's been done to you. So what will you do with your pain? If you're ready to start this journey, here's your first step. Tonight, take 5 minutes. Write down one thing that's been hurting you, one thing you've been avoiding. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to start asking the questions. This path isn't easy, but it's yours. And every step you take toward your truth, toward your chaos, is a step toward freedom. If this spoke to you, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us keep diving into these ideas, and I'm so grateful to have you here. Let's end with this. You are not your pain. You are not your failures. You are not the stories you've been told or the ones you've told yourself. You are the one who chooses what they mean. You are the one who decides who you become. So choose. Face your chaos, embrace your freedom, and start today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.